Hi, this is Em, and I thought we'd just take a quick little peek at some of the flowers that are just coming out of the press for those of you who like to do peeking at flowers. A couple little footnotes before we get started. These hopefully are some things that I haven't done or shown you yet this year. If I show you something I've already shown you, please forgive me. I will link at the end of this video and down in the description another peeking at video I did here about a month or more ago where I go into detail about weights, paper, rotating sandwiches and all that in case you have questions like that. And then also around that time I did press flower, uh, kind of like talking about pressing them and showing you if you want to be interested in pressing something like this or if you have some of these in your garden. So this is strictly, we're going to look at some flowers and a couple of leaves, see how they turned out. And if you have any in your area, maybe you might want to think about pressing some. And I also, when I do picking at flower videos, I do talk about color retention and things that you might be interested in knowing about if you're thinking about pressing flowers. And also, if you want to know about pressing flowers with the intent, growing plants with the intent of pressing, check out the In the Garden vlog and the In the Garden videos. There's two different playlists if you really want to take a deep dive. So having said all that, I just want to call your attention that there's all kinds of information if you're new to the channel. So please check out those related playlists and I will link them. So let's get started. I think we really have already looked at some pansies, so I'm just doing a quick drive-by, so to speak, on this one. Uh, and remember, these are hard to get off the page, so I really like this color. I'm going to get up under there, unstick it. And then here's one, I don't know if I showed you, where I was talking about pressing the little bud formations. And you can see the bud on there. So that's about all this is, a couple forget-me-nots. This is the one that I did for the photo for YouTube. These are Buttercup. And then this is, of course, Buttercup in profile. Columbine, this is the Columbine pressed in profile. And then these are the Geums, which are, I just love how intense the color is. Look how pretty that is. And they all of these hold their color for the Geums and the Buttercups, and this is a profile Poached Egg Plant. Here's a Geum in profile. These all hold their color really, for a very reasonable amount of time. And the Columbine, if you can get them through the press, they also do well. Let's see what we have here. Here's some more. Oh, here's another bud, a Columbine. So I'll bring closer to the camera. That one pressed really well. That's what I call the single Columbine. If you've watched some of my other videos when I was talking about pressing Columbine and I was talking about single petal and double petal. Now here's one that I pressed open faced that I talked about, that most of my press in profile, but every once in a while, because there's a lot of different kinds that are conducive to pressing open faced, and this was one of them. And if you watch that last, where I was talking about flowers for pressing, I think I showed you this when it was fresh before it went into the press. Here's some more Columbine, and that's stuck to the paper, so I probably broke the back of it. There's a little, these are kind of resin, there's a little resinous, resiny. The Columbines can have some get a little resiny sometimes. Oh, here's the one that I described. I love this. Let me bring this up to the camera. This is the one that I described as, I believe that I described as, when I look at it, I think of it as having a bad hair day. It's just so cute. And it holds its color well. That's another kind of Columbine. And sadly, we've had a lot of rain here uh, the bleeding heart that a lot of you are familiar with, the garden bleeding heart. And you can, certainly work with the individual florets or in the spray. These hold their color reasonably well. Anyway, what I was going to say is we've had a lot of rain, so I haven't had a chance to really press much. And the columbines are gone now. The latest season ones are this kind here. I'll show you if there's any down here. Here's some more of the one that I call the bad hair day. And here's another kind, darker blue. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I pressed some leaves, so you can see more columbine, another Geum, more columbine. I like this one too. Let's see what else we have. This is that Korean lilac. I'm sure I showed that on camera. That's what this is. It's got the real small lilac type flowers. Hopefully the camera's not blurring out. Here's the Korean lilac leaves. And then I've got several different kinds of coral bells, and I call these the big flower coral bells because they're a lot bigger than some of the other ones. And I use them, the individual little pieces like that in mini arrangements, or you can use the whole spray. And these hold their color really well. And they come in different colors from, whitishes to yellow whitishes to pinks, reds, mostly that family. This is off of a Jupiter's beard. They have kind of strange little florets. It's more Korean lilac. Here's where one grew is more of in a spray. I like the whole top. And again, you can use just the individual floret, like that, the individual, or, well, what I'm saying is you can use the individual floret, you can use a spike, like something like this, or you can use the whole spray. So they're very multi-purpose for miniature work too. Here's some more Geum off a different bush, so it's not quite as red. It's more of a kind of an orangish red. There's several different kinds of Geums out there. And also, oftentimes, the sooner you pick the Geum, like when they're just starting to open up versus that they've been open up for a couple days, they'll be more saturated when they're first starting to open up. So these are probably a little bit more open than the other ones. This is, I think it's called Campion, if I'm saying it correctly. And that's kind of how it grows. This isn't a good representation of what I want to point out, which is the veining. I've got some better Campion, I think, somewhere else I can show you what I'm talking about with the veining. And some more Buttercup. Here's some more Campion, Bleeding Heart. Maybe this sheet. Yeah, here, I wanted to show you how the veining, this is better. But you see how in here, in this part, it's got a lot of veining, which is very interesting. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. And it kind of turns, the whitish part turns a creamy white, but they're very pretty, and they will hold their color for a long time like that. All right, let's see what's in this other one. Anything we haven't looked at? Oh, I don't think we've talked about the poached egg plant yet. I pressed these down, and so that's why they're all face down, because I put them face down when I'm pressing them. And so now I got to kind of tease them off the page. They're a little on the sheer side, kind of more like tissue in a way. Yeah, you can, I don't know if you can tell, but the yellow holds its color for a super long time. So that's the back, that's the front, and the yellow is has good staying power. and I really like them. And then here's profile, or yeah, profile, and then a leaf. Here's what the leaf looks like. So that's how that goes. And I don't know if I need to bring it closer to the camera or not. I can try and see if you see anything better by doing that. So those are really pretty. Poached eggplant, it reseeds itself, it forms a big clump. It's easy to pull out if it gets too invasive. Here's some more poached egg. Here's one where I did the whole spray with the little buds on it. So that's cute. And more buttercup. We've already seen those. Buttercup. This is all buttercup. And some more forget-me-not right here. All right, that's really all I have to show you here. Season's kind of being slow to get started with, like I say, all the rain. Let's take a when I learn to talk. Let's take a look at a couple quick leaves, and then we'll be done. This is, I don't know, it's a vine, not a vine. It's a ground cover that grows wild, and this part in here is very silver. It can get very silvery. This isn't as silvery as some of them. And then this is off of. I have several different forms of what would be considered the Cranesbill family, and this one comes off of one where the leaves can get really big. And then this is from an alpine lady's mantle. I have 3 variegates in the yard, and this is from the alpine. Got the alpine and the regular lady's mantle, and then the dwarf. This is the alpine. Yarrow we've already talked about. Now here's another kind of a cranesbill, and the leaf is, excuse me if I bump the camera. The leaf is, I really like the leaves, and then here is these little miniature flowers that are on them. But you can see they're cranebill-like, and they reseed, and they're quite invasive. They're like a weed, and I pull them out, but I keep a little bit for pressing. And again, they're another one where you can use the little pieces, you know, like this, or you can use the whole cluster. So they're a good one to press. What else do we have in here? Some more of that cranesbill. That's the back. Some more of that other one that I just showed you. Here's a different kind of a cranesbill. It's got a different kind of a leaf, which I really like. And again, like this one is larger, but this comes off the same family of plant. So they have different sizes depending upon what part of the bush you pick them at. When they're first starting to come up, they're smaller, and then of course they get bigger as they grow. This is from an oregano type plant, an herb, and I press the flowers. I just love them, but the flowers aren't in bloom yet. And they hold their color really well. This is from the the Buttercup plant. These are Buttercup Leaves, which we looked at here a little in the flower section. We saw some Buttercup. And this is off of a variegated boxwood. I never pressed it before, and I was just curious to see how it was going to turn out. Some of them browned a little bit. For example, this one, if you look at this one, you can see where it browned a little bit. But the ones that came out without going quite as brown, like this one stayed nice and pretty variegatedly green. So there's some potential there. Like I say, first time I did that. I did some maple leaves. This is off of a plum tree, kind of a not, they don't, it didn't grow the type of plums that you eat. It's more the ornamental, small, I can't remember what it's called, thunder something plum. Anyway, it's off of a plum tree. This is off of one of my husband's maple trees where he trimmed back and said, "Here, do you want to press some of these?" These turned out really nice. These kept their color well. The seed pods from the maple, more maple. Okay, these are mostly all maple, 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 more plum. Let's see if there's anything any different in here. No, it's all the same kind. Fennel we already looked at in the last peaking video. Fennel. Oh, the epimedium. I can't remember if I showed you those or not, so just in case I didn't, I just wanted to show you how those turned out. I won't spend a lot of time on those because I think I did. Did we look at the dwarf goat's beard? Those are really cool. There's the regular goat's beard, dwarf goat's beard, and there might be other kinds. I've got a lot of dwarf goat's beards. I think that's it. Fernleaf bleeding heart leaves. Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of the other ones. Okay, that's it. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you down the line.